You were not placed on this earth with your own style, your own perspective, to be some watered down version of yourself that only exists to make other people happy. Like, no. What if you knew you only had a little bit of time left? What if you knew you only had a couple of weeks or a couple of months left until it was all over? What would you do? How would you spend your time? Life is so much shorter than we really think about sometimes. It's so easy to get invested in everything we have going on in our lives that we forget how short life actually is. But there is one thing that I think we can all agree on. When it comes to our priorities, wondering what someone else is thinking of us would be nowhere near the top. But in our everyday lives, this is often something that like permeates every facet of our being. And we aren't even aware of how much we really pay attention to it. Whether it be keeping up with your looks, making life choices, or even choosing your words wisely because you don't want to offend someone or hurt someone else's feelings. And social media only makes this so much worse. Not only do you have to be confident enough to take photos and videos of yourself and put yourself out there, but it's also almost impossible not to compare yourself to everyone else you see online. And it also doesn't help that online negativity, like negative comments, trolls, often come with no consequences. So people can pretty much say whatever they want about you to your face, and you're expected to just take the hits and keep on moving. It doesn't matter who you are. Everyone has a core desire to be loved. Approval from other people, especially those that we, like our peers, those we respect or admire, it boosts our self-esteem and it makes us feel that much more valuable to the rest of the world. It's human. But the problem comes in when we take others' opinions and we allow it to affect how we act and move and how we feel about ourselves. Not only is this unproductive, but it creates even bigger problems, like not being our authentic selves, depending on others for approval, having low self-esteem, and it stops us from taking risks that could dramatically improve our quality of life. So today I wanted to give you 5 tips that are going to spare you a lot of pain. If you follow these tips to a T, they will completely remove your need to be liked, and it will rid you of your obsession over other people's opinions of you once and for all. Take your life seriously. Your life matters. Your presence, who you are, is valuable. It is appreciated and it's needed. We are often under the impression that we don't matter, like the world would be indifferent if we were not here. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Everyone, and I mean everyone, has value. But you have to understand that the way that you are most valuable is by being exactly who you are, flaws and all. By dressing the way that you want, liking the things that you like, and saying the things that you really want to say. We only have a limited amount of time here. The clock is ticking. You need to be taking your life seriously. That's the only way that you're really going to be able to build up your self-confidence and strengthen your ability to filter out the opinions of others. You need to be working a job that you actually enjoy being at. You need to be indulging in activities and hobbies that really make you feel alive. And you need to be spending most of your time around people that you genuinely enjoy spending time with. If you don't like your life, right, and then someone comes along and shits on it, it's so much easier to then let that affect you. You're already standing on shaky ground. But if you're already confident in yourself and the things that you genuinely enjoy and who you are as a person, people's opinions, they hit a wall. If you know you love your life exactly the way that it is, exactly the person that you are, we're always trying to grow. But overall, if you love your life, it is then so much easier to reject someone who then comes along trying to change it. You know less than you think you know. Let me give you a hard truth real quick. You are not one of the X-Men. You are not Jean Grey. You are not a mind reader. You don't actually have a lot of insight into what people are actually thinking about you unless they tell you. And even then, there's a possibility they're probably lying. It is not uncommon for people to think you're amazing, but still choose to put you down just because they're jealous of you or the position that you're in. And if you have low self-esteem, I promise you, you are most likely overestimating exactly how much people actually think about you. To be honest with you, most people are indifferent, very much don't care. Life is hard. Life is hard for everybody across the board. Most people are more worried about themselves and their own situation than they are about you and yours. Take a second, really think about how much you think about other people, like what they're wearing or what they just said or whatever. It's not that much, right? I know I don't. The thing you have to understand is that in the same way that you don't think about others that much, they're also not really thinking about you that much. Like most of the time, it's really not even about what someone else thinks about you. It's more about what you think someone else thinks about you. It's all in your head. As long as you're nice to people and you do your best to be as genuine as possible, most people won't even think twice about their interactions with you. And you can't forget that most people that you come across on a daily basis will never see you again. I hope that gives you some sense of freedom, like nothing really matters too much. And speaking of not knowing what others are thinking about you, whatever they are thinking is not your business. Mind your business. Here are 2 quotes for you that I feel illustrate this point the best. People's opinion of you is none of your business, nor should you make it yours. What other people think of me is not my business. What I do is what I do. How people see me doesn't change what I decide to do. It is so easy to spend hours and hours of your days consumed by someone else's negative opinion of you. And the worst part to me about this is that it doesn't matter because you have absolutely no control over that. Like, think about it. You're spending all your time wondering why someone thinks of you a certain way. So by default, your priority is not your own thoughts. Your focus is just becoming whatever it is that you think they will like. And because you can't read their mind, you really don't even know what that is. And in reality, not only do you have no control over what they're thinking about you, you also have no insight as to why they're thinking it in the first place. Everyone has their own perception of reality, and everyone has their own specific reasons and life experience that influences how they act and the way that they think. The only thoughts that you have any control over in your life are your own. So what they think, logically, doesn't matter. Now, it's easier said than done, but let it go. Let people see you the way that they want to see you. This means they are going to judge you and they might not like you. Let them. You need to make a commitment today to yourself to stop trying to control how other people think and feel about you. You were not placed on this earth with your own style, your own perspective, to be some watered down version of yourself that only exists to make other people happy. Like, no, we are all unique for a reason. The best way that you can help yourself and help the world is by just being the most authentic version of yourself as you can. Now, keeping what I said before in mind, it is also impossible to not care at all about what other people think of you. Like, you want your friends and your family to see you as a good and lovable person. You probably want your boss and your coworkers to respect you. And you might not care if strangers think you look a mess in a grocery store, but you definitely care if the person interviewing you for a job thinks you look a mess. There are just going to be times where you do have to care. But the important thing here is that caring about things comes with certain responsibilities. And once you understand the responsibility that comes with caring about that thing, you can then make a more informed decision on what you actually care about. For example, let's just say that you care about being seen as a good friend. Well, you have to accept that that just comes with a few non-negotiable responsibilities. Like, you have to make sure you keep in touch. You probably should initiate a good chunk of your interactions with them. And you probably should remember certain special occasions, like their birthday, for example. Or let's say you care about being seen by others as someone who's sexy and attractive and respects their body. For that, you probably should either be in the gym or just doing some type of exercise regularly. You kind of have to eat in support of whatever your goal is. You also have to get enough sleep, and you probably should moisturize. So it is fine if you care about how certain people perceive you. But if you care about being seen a certain way, then you have to kind of put in the work to look that way. And if you don't want to put in the work to look a certain way, then why do you care? You also have to recognize who you're taking opinions from. Don't ever take criticism from someone who you wouldn't take advice from. Like, that don't make no sense. That right there cancels out probably 99% of the population. But let's say you do care about the person who is giving you criticism. Try to not take it personally and logically dissect their opinion. Can you learn anything from it? Can you improve an area of your life that you want to be improved using their advice? And if not, like, let it go in this ear and out this ear. Or this year, whatever floats your boat, you do you. And if someone's opinion continues to bother you, like, for example, sometimes opinions do get to me here and there, and the easiest way that I get past it, besides trying to logically dissect it, is I do things that strengthen my mind and or my body to distract myself. So like work out, read a book, go for a walk, paint a picture. And in the end, you'll have not only done something positive for yourself, but you'll also have boosted your self-esteem, which will hopefully help you forget about their opinion with time. And speaking of time, time is your friend. Unlike back in school where you were kind of stuck with the same people all the time, you can be more intentional about who you allow into your life and the situations that you put yourself in. If it's not your family, anyone in your life can be someone you never see again. And even with family, like, they're all replaceable. Do you hate the way they treat you? Do you find yourself feeling drained after hanging out with them? We're not in school. We're not in jail. They gotta go. Most of the time, people who are afraid of what other people think about them are really just afraid of rejection. And the ability to take rejection, while it probably will always sting a little bit, it does get easier with practice. For example, if you say, get your first job after college and a couple of your coworkers don't like you, like that feeling kind of sucks. But after you've had plenty of jobs under your belt, there's something you just start to realize. There are always going to be people who don't like you. And so keeping that in mind, Put all of your effort into focusing on the people that do like you. Things also just change with time, and unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do about that. Some people become your best friends right away, and then over time, you slowly grow apart. And some people, you hate them the moment you see them, but over time, you find commonalities and you become friends at some point. Life is always changing, and life is incredibly short. Just enjoy the moment without worrying too much about the past or the future. This is a tough pill to swallow, but the main thing that I want you to leave this video with is this: no one else can affect you unless you let them. At times, it does make sense to be aware of and to consider other people's thoughts and their perception of you. But you should never allow yourself to become too emotionally invested in what someone else thinks about you, because you can't control it. While it is hard sometimes to not let people's opinions, affect you or sting a little bit, do your best to not let people's opinions of you dictate your actions. Put that shirt on, watch that anime, learn that dance. Caring too much about others' opinion of you comes from a lack of self-confidence. You'll really stop caring when you learn to like yourself, flaws and all. And the best way to strengthen your ability to love yourself is getting clear on who you are and who you want to be and swearing by that. And the first step to having better self-confidence is creating a life that you cannot wait to tell others about. If you want to learn how to do that, check out this video here, subscribe for more videos like this, and yeah, I love you. I'll see you soon.